Hello and welcome to this edition of the Angels and Destiny show. Why is this show called this, you may ask? So I'll tell you. The accepted meaning of angel is messenger and the accepted meaning of destiny is to make firm establish. So my guests and I bring you messages to establish what you need to know in the present. And also I like working with angels and the calmness they bring. In a moment, I will introduce you to my wonderful guest, Kessa Gooden. But before that, I would like to say thank you for watching the show. It means a lot to me to connect with like-minded women. Now, if you've never met me before, then my name is Rae, and I help women to crossroads in their life, heal their past, create their future, to transform their present so they can control their destiny in the here and now. I'm the founder of Radiant Angel Energy, and I use angelic Reiki, future life progression, past life regression, meditation, angel cards, and hypnosis to help women who feel lost get clear on their destiny. And I've also created a transformational journey to help you take charge of your destiny. Now, each episode of the show will cover various themes of your journey, a mini guided meditation or angel card reading, with the wisdom of my wonderful guests, like today's guest, Kessa Gooden, who will be sharing her story and how you can reclaim your power back into the world. Now, Kessa is an author, motivational speaker, and philanthropist, and I can never pronounce that word properly, whose mission is to help you live your life as positively as possible. Kessa has gone through some dark and tough times, facing many hardships in her life, but by learning from her mistakes and with perseverance, determination, and endurance, she is now a self-independent and the CEO of multiple businesses. Kessa knows that every obstacle in life has a way around it, and she has made it her mission to motivate, empower, and put a smile on your face, whatever your issue. Kessa can speak 8 languages, is the published author of an inspirational book called Self-Growth, which you can find on Amazon, and now has her own show on Facebook called Real Talk with Kessa Gooden. So without further ado, hello Kessa and welcome to the Angels and Destiny show. How are you today?
I'm doing great, Rae. How are you today? Thank you for having me. I'm pleased to be here with you today.
It's brilliant. Thank you. Thank you for being on. So before we get into this fascinating conversation, then please hit the like or love button and please say hello to let us know who is here. And if you're watching this on my YouTube channel, then give it a thumbs up and subscribe so you can get updates on all recordings. You can also ask questions, leave comments and thoughts, as both Kessa and I want you to be part of this conversation. So please don't be shy. We will say hello to everyone who says hello and answer any questions or comments, either live or once the show is finished. So, Kessa, why don't you tell us more about yourself and then how you can help women with reclaiming their power back in the world? Can you hear me, Kessa?
Hi, Rae. We've lost connection with you. I'm not sure if you're still there, but I'm not seeing you. And I'm not hearing you.
I can see you and I can hear you. So I don't know what's happened. Don't know what's happened there. So bear with us whilst you're watching this. As usual, it's the technology of everything that doesn't seem to be working. So, and communication. I'm going to Messenger. So we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully that's Kessa coming back. Are you back?
Yeah, I lost connection with you. The energies just start going all over the place. Oh my God, I feel my body getting hot. Was it you that? Oh my God, this is. I am hot. Like, oh my God.
Okay.
Wow.
So breathe, and we're back. So, as I was saying before, and you disappeared right at the right moment when I said, so Kessa, tell us about your life or your journey and how you can help women.
Wow. Okay. So I guess we're in for a magnificent ride today. Okay. All right. So as I was saying, thank you for having me before we got disconnected. My life and my journey has been one of trial and triumphant. It's a very triumphant journey for me, and starting out, I'm going to tell a little story about
Yeah.
me starting at 8 years old. Just a
Yeah,
little
please do.
story, okay? Wherever you are that you're watching this, and maybe you can identify with it. And I'm speaking to young girls like who I was many years ago in Jamaica growing up, or even in Africa. My
Hmm.
childhood really started out of one of very, very humble beginnings. And when I mean humble beginnings, I mean in the sense where my mom was divorced with my dad when I was 6 years old. And she did everything she could to help us provide for the family. And I had to start helping with cooking, cleaning,
Hmm.
even becoming business mindset at the age of 8, like selling
Wow.
newspapers, selling apples on the street. And I'm telling this story because I want to show an aspect of determination,
Hmm.
okay? With a
Yeah.
child that was born with such a disadvantaged life, okay? And when I say disadvantage, is that when I was going to school, my mom didn't have money to pay for food, even lunch for me in school, okay, or even the clothes that I wear. And I remember that even my shoes that I was wearing to school, the bottom of it was coming off, and I had to use rubber bands to tie these shoes up to go to school. I had to walk roughly about 2 miles. I'm not sure of the distance, but it's very
Yeah.
far in the morning to get to school. And while my mom was doing her juice business, my brother and I had to stay up late in the night, sometimes 3, 4 a.m. in the morning. I'm talking about a 9-year-old's life at this
Yeah.
time. To help my mom to make the juice, to get them bottles and stuff so that
Yeah.
she can sell them in the morning while we are at school. Now, many young children who's faced with such adversity wouldn't have the motivation to go to school. And it was my motivation for me to get up every day and actually make it to school. So much so that I advanced in school. With all the challenges of this adversity, my how do you say, my determination of saying,
Hmm.
okay, you know what, I'm not going to let that hold me back. I'm going to go to school. I'm going to show up there first. I'm going to do the best that I can do. And I did that. And while at school, sometimes I couldn't even purchase my own lunch. I would have to ask kids in first grade or younger kids than I for
Yeah.
lunch. Looking back at that, and what I took out of that lesson was, even though I was in adversity, and every time that I went to school and whatever I learned, I used to come back in my neighborhood and I set up a school in my mom's yard. And I will teach the kids how to read and how to write in the neighborhood, right? And I will, provide food for them and stuff like that. And when I'm speaking about this because I heard a similar story to mine. And when it's coming about mission work and what I'm supposed to do in the world, it's
Mm.
supposed to be touching lives of others who are in the same situation that I was in.
Yeah.
You know, they said that, most people probably don't see angels, but I see angels every day. People like you and I, Ray, who
Hmm.
look out for each other, who look out for
Yeah.
people who are in a similar situation. That is what an angel is. That
Hmm.
is what it is to be there for someone that is maybe going through the darkest part of their
Yeah.
life, and no matter where or what the situation may be, I think that part of that story is to say you can still take a good out of it and do greater good with it.
Hmm.
And looking over my life, I'm seeing myself and I'm saying, well, if you were able to take what you learned in school and teach other, it's the same pattern that I've been doing. No matter what I get, I give it away. I give it to someone. I do that all over again.
Yeah.
And I never really tell the story because I never really realized that the strength that I have today, the determination that I have today, came from this little girl right here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ah. I like the dress.
Thank you. So this is me at, I think it was 9 or 12 at my mom's wedding in Jamaica. And I have no pictures of my past. None. I've always got rid of all pictures, never wanted to know where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
And over the past summer, I was in UK with my mom and my family, who I haven't seen for almost 20 years.
Wow.
Uh,
That's a
yeah,
long
so
time.
so it's after, almost 20 years, I'm reconnecting with my family. And I went in my mom home, and my mom has my graduation pictures, my pictures of me being a child. And I freaked out. I lost it. I lost it because I said to her, I'm not this person anymore. I'm not that person who graduated. I'm not that person anymore because I feel that I was probably a fragmented soul when I went back home. Because after being separated from home for 20 years, can you imagine the
Yeah.
journey of 20 years going back and then seeing the face of who you have been and, the
Yeah.
triumph that you have overcome? So,
Have you always wanted to start your own business, your own nonprofit? Are you a closet entrepreneur? Well, Kessa Gooden can help you set up everything from your 501c status in less than 90 days. Help with business taxes and back taxes. She's your personal business assistant. So contact her today at www.camfinancialsgroup.com. That's KAM Financialsgroup.com.
I'm sharing her story today, and that's just the first chapter of this little girl, for all the little girl on the streets of Vernon Avenue. And let me tell you about the street I grew up on.
Yeah.
And I hope this is the right place to share it. The street I grew up on, up until I was 14, if you should go there today, you may not want to sleep there.
Yeah.
You may not want to sleep there. And let me explain why. Most young men who grew up on that street either become a gunman or become killed. Most young girls like me who grew up on that street either become a prostitute or a dancehall queen or being abused
Yeah.
by some guys or something. You may walk to the store and just hear gunshot just like that for no reason. So you don't know if today may be your day or it may not be,
Yeah.
right? I haven't been back there for 20 years. And the reason why I haven't been back to Jamaica for 20 years is because when I go, I want to bring something for young girls like me
Yeah.
who are going through what I've been through, who may think that there's not a light at the end of the tunnel. And I want to bring something that I can add to the community for those young girls. And that's one of the reasons why I haven't been back there for 20 years. I see the people that may have known me as a child, and I can't identify with them anymore. I don't know how to explain it. They see me as a memory of who they think I was as a child. But I've evolved so much that we're no longer vibrating at the same level.
Yeah.
So I want to go back and help those young ladies and basically show them that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. So I didn't just become a CEO without the struggle and the journey
Yeah.
of, self discovery and finding self and claiming back my power from whether it's an adversity from my community or adversity from my family or adversity from even the men, right?
Yeah.
So I had to learn over and over again how to reclaim me and how to become who I am and stand in my own identity.
Yeah.
So that's just a little bit about me.
Yeah. I mean, it is quite, difficult, to try and understand that if you've not actually lived, through that life. Sometimes we think we've got it tough in our lives, but then you hear stories like yours, that there's people that actually have it a lot worse than we do, and ours is kind of like nothing. There's, it is like the saying, there's always someone whose life is unfolding in a completely different way from yours, and you never know what's happening in that person's life. Even if you see them, and they look all happy and jolly and that, you don't know the history behind it or what's going on.
Yes. And that is why it is so important for us as human beings that when we encounter each other, we acknowledge each other.
Yeah.
Because we just don't know the journey of each other. We don't know where that person has been, right? So it's very important to acknowledge that person, of being present. Yes.
Yeah, exactly, it is. So when you, so how old were you when you actually left Jamaica?
Okay, so that chapter of my life began a journey of being alone at 14, or being on my own at 14. Okay. So it's a very, very, very interesting chapter. And only by the grace of God, I would say, why I'm still alive. So that Kessa, I call each of them a different version of myself. So this Kessa got me out of Jamaica. Mm-hmm. And the Kessa at 14 years old got me surviving the United States of America at the age of 14, on the streets, foster care, group home, being raped, being molested, being abused, being homeless, living in an abandoned building. I mean, the list goes on and on. Okay. So that 14-year-old journey of Kessa is the story I've always told, because I remember just always has to be strong. Always have to be strong to get by, to get through. I mean, I'm cooking and selling food. I'm selling Valentine's gifts on the street. I mean, I probably had about 100 businesses throughout my life. Yeah, I probably had about 100 businesses. So that Kessa is the one that's always trying, no matter what. It doesn't matter how hard my situation got in America, or during my journey.
Yeah,
always trying and still helping others. I remember there was a point I was on welfare and was using my food stamp feeding the homeless people in the community.
Oh, bless you.
I'm laughing about it now, but it wasn't no joke when it was happening. No. Okay, it wasn't. I show humbleness to that person who was inside of me then, who walked with me through that journey to help me overcome it, and not just overcome the adversity that I was going through, but heal from it, because I don't feel the pain that it was created in me. I released that. I healed from that. And I know there's a lot of young ladies who are going through similar things, and who have been through similar things. So it's two-part. They're going through similar things. So after you go through it, now you have to heal through it. So there are many people who got through it, but has not released it and healed through it. And then there's many people who are going through it that have not overcome it yet. So I feel that that version of myself can help a lot of young teens, maybe runaway teens or homeless teens, have faith that there is light at the end of the tunnel. And one thing I continued doing was improving myself. That was the number one key, was continue improving myself, reading, listening to audiobooks, instilling in myself the opposite of what I see in the world. Because in the world, seeing what I see will probably tell me there's no way out of this hell.
Yeah.
But I had to internalize that this hell can stay being hell, but I'm going to heaven. I'm going to live in heaven, which is in my mind. I need my mind to be free from all this madness. So I had to work my way out of that. So that's the journey of the 14-year-old. Before, it was more of me taking it from a victim perspective, because my dad had to go to the military, and that leaves me with an aunt, and my aunt had to put me out there. But you know what? That again is one of triumph and reclaiming who I am.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, so it's obviously been a 14-year-old and the start of that. You know, how did you sort of like start healing yourself and, you know, getting clear? I mean, I love the fact that you try to improve yourself. And I think books, I mean, I love books. I think books and knowledge are one of the most key things that anyone can have, and your imagination and the stories, and that I think they can get you through anything with that. So was it the sort of like the reading, the knowledge that helped you with the healing process, or what was it?
I think that what played the most significant part in my recovery of healing with this journey is knowing that there's a higher power, something that is higher than who I am, because it had to be. It has to be. Here's why it has to be. I didn't create myself. I didn't create the trees out there. I didn't create these things out there. So it's common sense that there must be some forces bigger than I am. And yes, you know, I identify seeing people doing evil or wicked stuff, but I've also identified seeing people doing great good and doing really good. And I look at the both sides and I said, okay, well, they must have a higher force. I have an higher force. Both of them is coexisting in the same time.
Yeah.
So I figured out at a very young age, and I think since I was a child, I've just even been reminded of that with my friend that I visited in Gillingham, Kent, or Gillingham, Kent. I can't say that.
Gillingham. This is so like I can't say philanthropist. Yeah.
Exactly, philanthropist. Okay.
Yeah.
So as I was visiting her, I was speaking to her about the spiritual aspect of life. And I'm like, I know you might think I'm crazy, but this is this and this is that. And she said, Kessa, no, I know you since you were like 8 years old, and you've always spoken like this. And I'm like, what? I thought that this spiritualness and this spiritual gift just came about now. She said, no, you were always much wiser than your age. You always spoke about things that maybe other people may think you were crazy, but not me, because you always spoke like this. And now I understand that, you know, it is something that probably was rooted inside of me since I was a child. You know, my spiritual gifts or my spiritualness. Yes.
Yeah.
So I hope I answered your question. I didn't remember your question. I went off.
No, that's fine. You did actually answer that one. Now, obviously, you've got where you are today, and we were talking earlier, and you're talking about manifesting. I know that's something that's really big. You know, it's been big for a few years now. What with the secret and all that stuff, and I know that people still find it difficult to do that, even if they're following everything in the secret. They go, well, I bought this book, I followed everything, but I'm still not manifesting.
Okay. Finish. Go ahead.
No. So it's like you're obviously you manifest, your children manifest, and that. So how how'd you do it?
Okay. All right. So when it comes to manifestation, ever since I was a child, I've always had the gift of saying, this will happen
Mhm.
and it will happen. Okay. Or it's going to rain and it rained. Okay. Didn't know I was doing that, by the way. I thought that that was just, just kids being kids,
Yeah,
right? So I grew up saying, okay, so if something bad was going on, I would tell my mom sometimes, I would say, watch, before the end of this month, we're going to overcome it. And this is what's going to happen, such and such. And it was something we did as fun, my mom and I, even in
yeah,
my young adult age. And, we'll say it and we agree, and it happened, just as we say. Um, the Secret was the first spiritual book other than the Bible that explained everything to me when I
mm,
got it, where I said, I got it now, because I've been living that and I've been doing it consciously without knowing what it was called.
yeah,
Okay. And even in my journey in Africa and stuff like that, even just to survive Africa, and that's before I've learned about the secret. For me to survive Africa, I know for a fact the law of attraction is there. Whether it's good or bad, you attract it to you. And I am
yeah,
100% sure on that faith. So, if you hear in secret with the conscious mind, you may not be able to utilize the manifestation power. But if you hear it with the subconscious mind, you can definitely tap into that power and it can automate itself. So sometimes you may drift and start thinking, oh, something negative is going to happen. Oh, yes, it will happen.
yeah,
Right? Because consciously we tend to think stuff and don't really realize that. So the secret was my key to unlocking that this does exist. It does exist. Okay. Then along the journey, I would say like Napoleon Hill, Wayne Dyer, Jim Rohn. I mean, I've studied so much of them. It's like I
you
used to
can,
consume them for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I would go days without eating, seriously, because of consuming these stuff in my brain.
yeah,
Okay. So yeah, it does exist, and anyone can manifest what they truly desire if they truly believe it.
yeah. And I think an interesting thing there was, as you said, when you were a child and you didn't know, was that it was the fun element. So there was fun behind it, and I think that's sometimes the thing. Good. If something really happens, it good for you. So it's I'm trying to think. So as a child, you have that enthusiasm, that eagerness. Well, you're going on a trip tomorrow, and you have that. Oh my
Hmm.
God, I'm going on a trip tomorrow. You're not worried about how you're going to get there, what's going to. You're just thinking, I'm going to have a great trip tomorrow, and you have a great trip. But if you're sort of like you're a little bit older and you go, oh, I'm going on a trip tomorrow. Oh, but I've got to do this. I've got to do that. I've got to do that. Will it rain? Will it won't rain? And you're overthinking what could go wrong rather than
Well, for me, I still do it as a child. I'm probably one of the biggest kid you meet or encounter. Okay, I try to be as mature as I can in front of people or
yeah,
publicly, but with my children, we are just four big kids having fun. Okay, just just having fun, and I will make my list just like you see. This is written today, right? Like it's all
yeah.
full. Every single day, I write a page of things that I want to manifest for the day. And I'll write it and
Okay.
I'll just manifest it and I'll check it off the list to a point where it's like, okay, is it really that easy? So I will manifest. Okay, before my rebirth, I'm going to speak of that.
Yeah.
Last couple years ago, before I went to solitude, I literally, everything that was on my list to accomplish for the year, take me about 2 months to manifest
Wow.
versus the whole year. So I think it's a natural capability. But even in the Bible, Jesus said, anything that you want, ask in my name, and you shall receive it. And remind me of these words. And I've learned that since I was like 14 years old. Remind me of these words. So when I'm going through a dark moment, like a really, really dark moment, I will say, because Jesus is like my guidance.
Yeah.
I will say to him, I will say, you tell me that if I ask for this, it shall be given without a doubt. So I will say, I am over this situation. I am recovered from this situation. And you told me to remind you of your words. So I am reminding you that it is done. And then that's it. And I leave it. I leave it alone. I never go back to it. I've never rethought it. Sometimes like there's situations in my life that maybe my mom or someone from my past has to remind me, like, girl, you're forgetting. I say it and I'm done with it. I say it and it's just like that, So this, by the way, Rae, will be my first public conversation about my spirituality.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
My absolutely first public conversation about my spirituality, my belief system, and my guidance system.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Thank you so much.
No, thank you for giving me the platform to share that side of me. Because in truth, if others don't know that side of me, then they will either think I'm either the Kessa they knew a few years ago, or the Kessa they knew 10 years ago, or the Kessa they knew 20 years ago, but not who I am today. Not who I am. Yes. Yeah. So thank you for allowing me to share that.
Oh, that's brilliant. So you mentioned solitude then. So 2 years of solitude?
The journey was roughly about 2 years.
All right.
And I am going to tell you that story, but my computer battery is dying. So
no.
Plug it in. So yes. So let me see if there's any plugs here first before I go into that, because I don't want technical difficulties to
in the movement of talking and it goes.
Yeah, let me just plug it in.
Yeah.
Okay. Give me a second.
Yeah, that's fine.
Have you always wanted to start your own business, your own nonprofit? Are you a closet entrepreneur? Well, Kessa Gooden can help you set up everything from your 501c status in less than 90 days. Help with business taxes and back taxes. She's your personal business assistant. So contact her today at www.camfinancialsgroup.com. That's KAM financialsgroup.com.
Okay, so we're talking about my solitude.
Yes.
So 2 years ago, let's rewind. Not 2 years ago. 4 years ago, I got caught up in a situation that is called fake twin. Are you familiar with that? Being in a relationship that wasn't meant for you, but you thought you were divinely guided.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So twin folk, or
yes.
Okay. So I went through a relationship that ended up abruptly. It went fast. That whole journey went fast. Now, after the ending of that marriage, I spend the rest of the time rediscovering myself, understanding who I am, rebuilding who I am. So I exit myself from the public eyes. Prior to that, I was like being on boards and doing like conventions and meetings and stuff, and I took myself away. And I went deeper on the spiritual journey. And when I say deeper, I mean so deep that so much of the universe unlocked itself to me. It opened up in a way that, wow, was how to describe it.
You can't.
How? What you said?
It's one of those you can't.
Yes.
Describe.
Yes. So it took me 2 years, well, almost 2 years to go through that. And this is what I called like a rebirth process, where everything that you thought you were, everything that you thought you wanted to become,
Yeah.
everything that society push on you, all the mistakes that you made, all the choices that you make was revealed in front of you. It's kind of like what they would say the Akashic record. And I've
Yeah.
never really studied about these things. This is stuff that I personally know internally. This is not
Yeah.
things that I read about or anything like that. It all revealed itself to me and said, okay, this was your choices. This is where you went wrong. This is where you made a mistake. This is what you need to release. This is what you need to, this is the path you need to go down. This is what you need to focus on. And this
Yeah.
is how to identify the distractions, right? And that's what solitude did for me. It helped me to identify that. And in the process of my solitude, it wasn't like solitude from everything, because I'm still raising 3 kids by
Yeah.
myself. I'm a single mom. So what kind of solitude can one really get
Yeah.
with 3 kids, right? But throughout the journey of discovering who I was, who I am, who I need to be, or where I need to be, that was an interesting journey. And the kids was with me through that part there.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing that you can actually do that journey and have your kids involved as well, because they can then, it's sort of like they understand things a little bit more about their own self, and the confidence they'll give them in their future.
Yes, to understand that this side does exist.
Yeah.
It's one of the things that's not taught in our public school systems. So I homeschool my kids to make sure they learn that, because I would really love for them not to make the choices or go down the road that I went down. And the reason why I shared the story about me being less privileged in Jamaica is because I recently was speaking to my kids about that, because they don't know these things. They don't have
Yeah.
a clue. Yeah. So I'm like, you guys don't know how privileged you guys are to be able to say, okay, you have dinner tonight. Okay.
Yeah.
Or, so I started telling them about the street, because I want to go to Jamaica. And I started telling them about the street that I grew up on. And they were like, oh my God, I'm never going to Jamaica, mommy. And they're like, you're so strong. And I try to share that, because I realize that at this point of life, if I don't share that with them, they're not going to understand that.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm starting to share it with them.
Yeah. Yeah. It's absolutely amazing. And, and your story, kind of like how you got from there and, where you are now, it's brilliant to sort of like see it unfolding, and that from the start to sort of like the middle, and to kind of like going deeper within yourself and accepting yourself more. I think.
Yes, accepting myself in the, I would say, second to last phase of before the whole spiritual awakening stuff. Reclaiming yourself, right? We were talking about reclaiming you.
Yeah.
There was a specific situation where I was married and living in Germany, and my ex-husband is military personnel, and so as a military family, you get supported.
Yeah.
Yeah. They don't get much salary, but you get supported, like free housing or food or stuff like that. As I was living in Germany and my marriage was going south, getting really, really south, stuff that I don't want my kids to see.
No.
Yeah. And I said, you know what? I need to start going to school to do more for me, right? Because I am supporting my husband in his career, but the career always came first. So I realized, okay, it's time to work on me. At that time, I was 420 pounds. I have a picture.
Wow.
420 pounds. I started slowly going to college. That was step one of reclaiming who I am. And I was 25 at the time. Um, Going to college, and then the marriage got worse and worse. The more I did for myself is the worse the marriage got.
Yeah.
Okay, that was my sign that I'm on the right path.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So, long story short, I took 3 kids. I left Germany at the age of 25, $0. Walk away from the government benefit, the government medical, the government housing, every last one of the support that I was getting from my ex-husband. And I start over by sleeping on the floor in a friend's house. So that is one part of reclaiming your identity, reclaiming who you are, because we often get caught up in the so-called securities that are provided for us.
Yeah.
And we kill a piece of us daily because of those securities that being provided for us, right? We sell our souls then in a sense I would call it, because you feel empty, you feel miserable in a situation like that.
Yeah.
And you feel powerless. Not to mention, powerless is as if you cannot breathe unless this person supports you.
Yeah.
And then when you put yourself in situations like that, what happens? The person who has the power make you feel more powerless.
Yeah.
Right? So they don't really be humble about the situation in the sense that they're handling the power right. They're reminding you daily that you are powerless.
Yeah.
So it's up to us to take that step back and reclaim back that power. Okay? And how we reclaim back that power is by adding more to who we are and remembering who we are and where we want to be. Acknowledging that the situation is not our fault, and basically releasing that situation and spend time, like I said, in solitude to repair the damages that it done to your soul. Because anyone in that situation will experience what I call a fragmented soul. So now we have to go back into those situations, reclaim the power from those people who has pulled us apart.
Yeah.
So that is reclaiming you.
Yeah, and when you break it down like that, that makes that kind of like makes absolute, absolute sense. But about how you get those parts back and you actually become whole again. You actually become who you are meant to be in the present time.
Yes. Because what we also experience, and I'm speaking from myself, what we also experience is what I call a cultural identity that try to pull your power away, society identity that try to pull your power away, familial identity that try to pull that away. I call those forms of bullying. It's kind of like being in school and kids bully you, right? So cultural identity or familial identity is like, oh, you need to be married by the time you're 30. Okay, you need to marry a white person, or you need to marry a skinny person, or you need to marry a Catholic person, or you need to this, and you need to that. So you try to conform to fit in all those expectations of every single body, except who you are supposed to be. Right? So when you're trying to fit into each of these categories, you're giving pieces of your souls away. You're giving pieces of yourself away. So, like for example, oh, you can't get married, you can't get divorced because you have kids. So stay in a bad marriage. That is the number one, I think. Stay in a bad marriage, keep getting mentally abused over and over and over again because you have kids, so do it for the kids. In my situation, I did it for the kids. I divorced him. Why? Because my kids were seeing arguing, fighting, an unhealthy situation. And I think that culturally, we put these restrictions on the other person, that person sometimes can get lost in the journey. And some people will never find their way back. Some will just conform and just say, okay, I'm just going to do it this way. Mommy's happy this way. She is skinny, or she is, light skin.
Yeah.
And they sit down with someone that is not making them happy because mommy's happy.
Yeah.
And I've always taught my kids that it's not about me. I've had my time around in this life. I've had my journey. It's about you, how you want to live your life, how you want to build you. This is your journey. I'm here to support you guys in this journey. This is not my journey you're here to live. It's not what I want for you. It's what you want to do. So how, like, my kids right now, they're homeschooled. I'm like, do you want? No, we don't want to go in the public school system. My eldest son, he's 14, and since he was 6, he's on ADHD medication. Up until 5 years ago, I realized that wasn't the route to go.
Yeah.
And he's a lot better now without that. So understanding these things and, try to take back where I give away a little bit power over the situation. And that's reclaiming who you truly are, I believe.
Yeah. And then that's brilliant. And that makes absolute sense. So thank you so much for sharing that and breaking it down for us. Yeah. So that's really good. Yeah, good. Thank you so much. So, everyone that's watching this, hope you found it insightful, and the words of wisdom that Kessa's given you will help you on your journey. Now, Kessa, I do guided meditations and angel card readings. So every week when I do this show, I ask my guest, so it's sure. So would you like me to do an angel card for you and everyone watching, or a guided meditation? You get to choose.
I think an angel card will work.
Yeah. Everyone chooses angel cards. And that we like angel cards. So I'll just give this a quick cleanse and bless. Now, as those that are watching know, although I work with the past with past life regression, that is to heal the past. And although I work with the future, that is to show you your future. Those come back to being in the present. So when I do the angel cards, it's for what we need to know for our highest good at this moment in time. So what do Kessa and everyone who's watching this need to know for their highest good at this moment in time? Does Kessa anything else watching? Whoa. Okay, and that one's jumped out. So, brilliant card. Gates of Triumph.
I knew that was the card coming up.
Success expands your life. I get that there.
I knew that was coming out. I knew it was going to say triumph.
Yeah, it just, and that one, and that one literally flew out, and it's these gates wide open with the sunshine in the background. And everything, so it's absolutely apt that card has come out, and it just goes to show it's just reinforcing what you already know, and giving you the encouragement to carry on with what you're doing and how you're going, and that, because it is, the success that you're having with taking back your power and your self-growth is giving you the triumph of actually being back in your power and being who you're meant to be, and that you're going to be able, to help those young girls and that in the future, and that. So it's brilliant that card came out.
Thank you. And before we started, we spoke about triumphant over adverse situation.
We did.
Yes. And because the gates are open, hopefully many young people, whether it's on a collective level or a physical, will have triumph over their stories, over their situation.
Exactly. So if Kessa, if people want to connect with you, how do they do that?
Okay, so I am on Facebook, so they can search my name, Kessa Gooden, or they could go to my website, KessaGoodenTeam.com. So again, that's Kessa Gooden team.com. And they'll be able to write me, message me, comment on this post because I'll share it on my page. Comment on there and message me. So
brilliant. And what I'll do after this is finished, I'll put those links in the comments so that people can just click on this.
Okay.
So thank you everyone for watching this, and I would like you to invite you to share this video, as I'm sure there are more women and young ladies who feel lost and they want to get clear on their destiny just like you. And if you need help finding and taking charge of your destiny and getting clear on your path, then I would love to be that guide for you. So reach out and connect with me, as I'd love to book a 20 to 30 minute session via Skype or Messenger with you so that we can have a quick chat, so we can find out more about each other. I can educate you on what I do and how I can help you on your journey. And I look forward to seeing you all next week and joining me on Wednesday, the 3rd of April at 8 p.m. UK time, where I'll be talking to my guest, Kessa Gooden, who'll be talking about how you can master your energy and connect to your divine nature through connection to nature. So everybody, I will see you then. And Tessa, again, thank you so much for being part of this show and sharing your story with us.
Thank you so much, Rae, for having me. It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Have you always wanted to start your own business, your own nonprofit? Are you a closet entrepreneur? Well, Kessa Gooden can help you set up everything from your 501c status in less than 90 days. Help with business taxes and back taxes. She's your personal business assistant. So contact her today at www.camfinancialsgroup.com. That's KAM Financialsgroup.com.